Welcome to Masterpiece Tarot. My name is Tala. Here you will find timeless messages to guide your soul's awakening. If you're here, trust. You're meant to be. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like the videos. It does show your support and helps my channel grow. And thank you, Spirit, for allowing me to channel these messages for the highest good of the collective. Okay, collective. The first reading that I would like to do is one for people on the spiritual path of awakening. And so I'm going to draw some manifestation cards, and then we'll just go right into a tarot. And see what messages Spirit has. Okay. That one flipped. Nurture. Okay. Authentic. One more, Spirit. Whoop, that one definitely popped out. Resourceful. Okay. So, I like these. Let's put this over here. Okay, so nurture. Be authentic and be resourceful. So let's look a little bit more deeply into how these can play out within the context of, some relational dynamics. Okay. So nurture. The Fool wanted to come out. What else, Spirit? One more, please, Spirit. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, we've got a Fool, the Fool card. We've got a Two of Wands and a Knight of Cups. So what I'm seeing here is that our individual here in the Two of Cups is taking a leap of faith. He's made a choice to bring a cup of love. Okay, and how can we tie nurturing? You guys might hear my dog in the background. This idea of nurture, and so nurturing is sort of like feeding. It's kind of like giving to something in a way that's going to allow it to grow, to thrive, to have what it needs. And we can nurture ourselves, and we can also nurture others. And here, with the cards that are out, I'm seeing that Spirit's message is to nurture self. Okay, so for the person that I'm talking to, if this is resonating for you, you might be embarking on a new journey where you're going to be maybe bringing some love messages. You've made a choice and you're moving ahead now. And so I think it's important to remember that, especially when we're offering a cup, because the cups are definitely related to nurture. We nurture others with our love. So it's really important to have your own cup full before you try to turn around and go give your cup of love. So nurturing yourself at this time, collective, is just going to be really important for those of you that are embarking on a little new adventure. Okay. And next we have this quality of being authentic. So let's look a little bit into this spirit. What do you have for us here with authentic? Justice. Okay. We have a 9 of Cups. Okay. So with these cards here, I'm seeing a real contrast here. There's, on the one hand, we have a 9 of Cups. This person's extremely fulfilled and happy with what they have in life, where they're at. On the other hand, we have somebody who's like on the other end of the spectrum, somebody who is in mourning. They're looking at these spilt over cups. They're feeling really down and out. They're in a black gown which signifies that they're in like a period of bereavement. And then we have the Justice card. And with the 2 scales, they're difficult to see on this card. But with the 2 scales, you know, the Justice card is about truth. This judge is really interested in the truth. And a lot of times the truth lies somewhere in between, right? And so with the scales, it's about balancing these things on the one hand. And with the authentic card here, authenticity is about being honest and truthful about one's beliefs, one's wants, one's needs, one's desires. And so I think what I'm getting here is, you know, when we move through life, you know, a healthy way to move is with, I think, a bit of an expectation of balance and fairness. And I say that because I'm looking at the Justice card here. It's reasonable to move through life with the sense that, you know, the divine is always looking to balance the scales so that things are fair. But we have to help divine to do that. And the way that we do that is by being authentic in what it is that satisfies us, what it is that makes us feel abundant and happy and fulfilled. So it's about being truthful with yourself. And then also what causes us to, you know, experience loss. Obviously, many things are outside of our control. But I just think being honest and truthful, if you have suffered losses, for example, be real about it. You don't need to hide it. It's okay to look at it. And do it with a sense that there will be justice, some kind of, you know, divine rebalancing, some kind of cosmic balancing of the scales. And this can happen down on earth too. And that's what this justice represents. We've got the sword of truth going up to the heavens and the feet planted firmly on the ground here. So if you're on a spiritual path in life, speaking your truth, knowing your truth, and letting the divine know, or even praying over your truth, can be really helpful. And then we have this resourceful card. So what does it mean to be resourceful? It means, I think, using, you know, being keen to where your assets are, where your assets lie. What can you leverage in a given situation to help you achieve your goal or your ends, your means? Yeah, I've got the World card. And this is how, and we have a Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Well, right here I'm getting a message that's about this. What I'm seeing here is like, this to me says something about betrayal and how to move ahead after betrayal in a way that is resourceful. And what I'm seeing is that the person on this card, which I'm going to leave it down, well, it's okay. The person on the world card here is looking back at the Wheel of Fortune. We have two circles, and, you know, there's a sense that, you know, this wheel is always turning, and it's turning for our highest good. So right there we have a resource. The resource is the assumption that the wheel is always turning for our highest good. Of course, the wheel of karma can bring quote unquote bad karma, but is there even such a thing as good and bad karma? It's more just consequences of our actions. So understanding that every turn of the wheel, everything that occurs is somehow a function of an action you've taken previously in this life or in a past life, if you want to believe that. But moving from a place of understanding that is a way that we can be resourceful, because we understand that if we want good outcomes, if we want to, you know, our labors of life to bear good fruit, it's simply about taking right action, right speech, right? Yeah. So with this betrayal here, I see these letters on this card here, and these letters perhaps symbolize writing something down. So like if there has been a betrayal, it could be a way of processing any pain, is to write things down. It could be a way to record what's happened, because you can look back at it and it can help you to reorient yourself in a place and a time. You know, it can give context to your experiences. We also have these symbols from the 4 different elements. And I don't know if they're fixed or cardinal. I'm actually forgetting right now. But the point of that is that we can draw on the 4 elements, you know, when it comes to being resourceful. So a magician draws on 4 elements. We can be like the magician and draw on or tap into the energies that each bring. So there's, you know, value in, you know, being connected to the emotions with the cups, being connected to the mind with the swords, being connected to our soul, our passion, maybe even our lower chakras with the wands, and being connected to the earth with the pentacles. So finding resource in each of those areas at the right time. So being mindful that we always have those at our disposal, that if we're dealing with betrayal, writing can be helpful, either for yourself or if you're going to seek help. And the world, have a sense of trust that the universe is always wanting what's best for us. And if that means closing out a cycle, being recognized for an achievement, then that's what's going to happen. Yeah, there's a real sense of accomplishment here. So now let's see if there are any other cards. Sorry I'm yawning so much. I've been napping today. I want to draw, here, I want these guys. Let's get one for each, and we'll see if we've got a final message here. An overall, too many. An overall final message here from Spirit. 10 of Pentacles. Yeah. A 4 of Wands. And the High Priestess. Wow, nice cards to come out here. So what are we nurturing? This nurturing, we were initially talking about filling up your own cup, especially when you're embarking on a journey towards love. And then here we see the 10 of Pentacles. So clearly, nurturing, invoking that spirit of nurturance over time can help cultivate a 10 of Pentacles. I think the 4 of Wands here with the Authentic card speaks to the importance of, again, being honest with yourself when it comes to creating a stable home, to creating this, foundation for your life, being honest with yourself, with the Justice card, and, using what you want and what you don't want to help guide that understanding can be really useful. But I think when we're talking about a 4 of Wands, it is critical to be authentic, be real with yourself, but be authentic and honest in your dealings with others, whether it's the person that you're partnering with or considering partnering with, whether it is family members and friends that are, witnessing this part of your community. I think you're going to get people who are going to agree, and then you'll have folks that don't agree. But the point of it is, it's your home, and you need to be truthful, first and foremost within yourself. That's the most important thing. And how do we know? Well, we can ask God for one thing. We can definitely ask for guidance. We'll be led into our depths of our being, our higher self, our soul. And the 10 of Pentacles and the 4 of Wands sort of relate here too. And I think nurturing the self helps set the stage for the quality of authenticity. When we love ourselves, it's much easier to be open about who we are, and we then invite others to do the same. And I love that the High Priestess came out here. So we're talking about being resourceful. And we talked about the 4 elements, but what we didn't talk about was the resourcefulness that we have within ourselves and also via the intuition that connects with this higher power, which I love because we have a finger pointing up to the heavens here. Yeah. The High Priestess also has, understands sort of like hidden truths or sacred knowledge. These are things that are, in the subconscious or unconscious of our collective consciousness. And sometimes the answers to situations of betrayal and things can be found in that, from that place, I think. And the ability that the High Priestess has to, I want to say decipher, because I look at this as almost like a cipher. to decipher certain codes that bring about completions is perhaps one of the High Priestess's many talents. Maybe it's one of her stronger talents even, and skills and gifts. Okay, so we can all tap into these energies within ourselves when we're thinking about our spiritual journey. And yeah, it was a different kind of reading, but I'm glad that you all were here to hear it. And thanks for tuning in, and bye for now.